I do here? I survived. That's what I did here. No, I had a great experience here. You know, the one thing that later on in life now, you've realized that the people here are real. And my wife and I really appreciate that about this community.
Mike Teeter was a real Fruitport success story. I mean, he is, I always knew him, and a lot of people know Mike Teeter as like a weight room legend. I mean, in fact, when he played 6 years in the NFL, and during some of those years he was actually regarded as one of the strongest players in the NFL. But what I remember about him is also he had incredible speed. And when he was playing football at Fruitport, he also ran track to keep his speed up. And he was actually one that ran the 100-meter dash very, very competitively too. So I just remember thinking, wow, someone can be that strong and also that fast. And so maybe it wasn't as surprising for me that as well as he did at Michigan and in the NFL, because that's just so rare to have someone who can combine the strength and the speed the way he did.
Well, we knew he was going to start for us that first year because the football program had a new head coach, got a new coach. Tom Holden came back, and it'd been down a little bit. So we played a lot of sophomores. Of course, he was the strongest guy on the team as a sophomore, and you could see that right away. Strongest and fastest. But he only was probably 220, 230 then. He's a little bigger. He got bigger and better, but great two-way player, terrific player.
It's surreal when you think about the time that you had, right? And and I've realized this now that it's all done. When you're going through, when you're experiencing those things, you're not really thinking about not just the impact, but that this could be it. This could be the last time I put on the helmet. This could be the last time I play the game. And so you're living it, you're trying to live in the moment, but you really don't know how to live in the moment, right? And the thing that I remember the most about high school football, one, was just the friendships that you develop, right? And it kind of brings all those guys together that outside of football, we have nothing in common, right? And I won't mention names, but they know who they were, and I know who they were, and I was an oddball too. But you bring those personalities and those guys together, and you work together for one thing, and just remember those parts about the game in high school that were really special. And the thing that I enjoyed the most was the preparation of game day, just the clicking of the cleats on the concrete as you walk up that path. And you hear the band going. For me, the drums were a big deal. There was just something about the drums that just got me going. And you could hear everybody and the talking out in the stands, and the smell of the grass, and just the lights shining down. That was, for me, the thing that really got me going. And I get goosebumps just thinking about that feel.
Yeah, one particular, when he was a junior, he played fullback. And we played a game over at the Heights, and they had a real good team, a lot of speed, and it was very, very muddy over there, so we couldn't use 1/3 of the field, and that was our sideline. But Mike, we won 14-6 because Mike had a 90-yard kickoff return and a 80-some-yard run on a trap play up the middle. But what's significant was, as he broke in the clear on both of those, he got chased by two guys, and it was two of their running backs, and they couldn't catch him. And both of them played small college football, like Division II, Division III football. You couldn't catch them. We had our white uniforms and had the wing helmet. They looked pretty good going down the field. That made a nice highlight tape.
When a lot of the other guys were out doing stuff, I was lifting and running and doing some of the things that I needed to do to, not knowing at the time that I was going to go on and play college football, but having that desire to go on and play. So, it was a great time. It just, like any high school kid though, it's a time that you're trying to really figure out who you are. And for me, fortunately, I figured that out, figured out what I wanted to be. I was headed kind of down a wrong path at first, and fortunately, through the influences of friends and family and some teachers, we got on the right track. Well, I had the benefit of having a great coaching staff when I was here, and I had the benefit of having the coaches that I had when I was younger in Terry and Pat Westcott, and in Jarvie and Steve Schrackman. And then when I got into high school, I had that benefit of having them there. So, and then there was Mark Hebb, and these were great guys, right? I mean, and they had a unique chemistry between them all. And where you had some of these old Fruitport players in the Westcotts and Schrackman and Jarvie that, you know, just suck it up and, you know, throw a little mud on it, you'll be okay. To the technical side and the experience of Tom Hebb and Tom Holden and Mark Hebb, that was looking back at it, it was really unique. So they prepared me well. They prepared me well, not just on the, the football, the X's and O's, but they prepared me. As a young man getting ready to go to Ann Arbor, and I didn't have a clue that I was going to Ann Arbor at the time, and just to be a decent guy, to be a tough player, to work hard. Those were the things that those guys brought. My senior year, or my junior year, I got a lot of attention from teams all around the country. I narrowed it down to I want to stay in the state of Michigan. I didn't realize how much I would despise Scarlet and Gray or people in South Bend at the time. And so I committed to U of M and played under, in my opinion, the best college coach to ever coach the game.
I know Bo Schembechler just absolutely loved him. He was one of Bo's favorites, which is a pretty elite company considering how many great, athletes played for Bo Schembechler. But I remember interviewing Bo about Mike, and he just went on and on about, the type of individual he was, the type of love he had for football, and just his toughness. And to be able to connect with someone like Bo, it's not many people do, and Mike was one of those that did.
One of the things one of the questions that people, what's one of my best memories ever, it wasn't until after I was done playing at U of M, where Bo had my family come up to his box during a game, and I wanted to introduce my kids to the man who had such an influence in my life. And here's a guy with, who's known all around the world. He gets down on his knees to see, because my kids were little at the time, and to look them straight in the eye and talk to them, put his hands on their shoulders and sign their caps and answer all their questions, and my kids' eyes are as big as saucers. That for me was the best memory that I have of Michigan football. So, it was a unique experience for me. I was very fortunate, very blessed to have the experiences that I did. I was impacted so much by other people, and I think that's the one thing that I would like, for people to know, that the influences that they had on you that really make you who you are, all right, really help develop who you are. From the guys when I was in 8th grade that wanted to beat me up when they were in high school just because I was one of those guys, right? Everybody wanted to test it, okay? To the people who didn't think that you would make it or do anything, to the teachers that influenced you greatly and said that you could.
Class of 1986, Mike Teeter. Mike surprised scouts at his NFL tryouts with his strength and speed, but his ability started in Fruitport. Mike was a dominating force on the football field at Fruitport in the early 1980s, playing seemingly every position, proving that he was more than just a tough guy in a small town. Teeter became a 4-year standout at the University of Michigan during one of the greatest periods in the Wolverines' storied history. Under the direction of the legendary coach Bo Schembechler, Teeter helped lead the Wolverines to Big Ten championships and 3 Rose Bowl berths in '86, '88, and '89. Perhaps his highest tribute for the 6'3", 260-pounder came after his senior year when Schembechler called Teeter our most valuable defensive lineman by far. Second team All Big Ten in his senior year, he started his pro career with Frankfurt of the World League. He went on to the NFL, playing for the Colts, Vikings, Houston, I guess, Oilers at that time, Arizona, all before retiring in 1996. He was known as the strongest player in the NFL for bench pressing 640 pounds while a member of the Houston Oilers. He returned to the college game as defensive line coach at Indiana for 2 years under head coach Cam Cameron. In 1998, he resigned his position to return home. Mike has been involved with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, served on numerous boards, coached youth soccer, football, basketball, and once again, giving back to his community. In 2004, Mike was honored by being named to Muskegon Area Sports Hall of Fame. Please welcome Mike Teeter.
Thank you. I don't know how you follow, Jack. I don't even know where to start. I hate Ohio State. I have so much to be thankful for. Can you hear me okay? I have so much to be thankful for. The first thing I want to say, though, I've been with this woman for 30 years of my life. I met her when I was 15. I've never dated anybody else, okay? That's saying something when you've gone through the ranks, okay? But she's been by my side. She helped lead me to Christ. She's given me 3 wonderful, beautiful children, and it's my wife, Kim. Like Jack says, let's get to business. But I can't say anymore after that. I've played in front of 100 and some thousand people. I've traveled the world. I've been with 6 different teams in 6 years. I wasn't very good, okay? I got fired a lot. And a lot of people have asked me, what's your best memories? And I have to be honest, my best memories were in Fruitport. I mean, I know it's hard to believe, but my best memories, I have some great memories out on that football field. I mean, I can still see Darren Kane sliding through the mud during a game and laugh. I mean, there's so many stories. A lot of you know this, a lot of you don't know this, but when I was in the off season, I came back and worked on the blueberry farm with my father-in-law. Okay, being on a John Deere is more therapeutic than any counseling session that you can possibly have. Okay, so going to the Village Inn, that was a hangout. Okay, so these are the things and the reasons why we came back to Fruitport, because we love the town. But I have to say that I'm so proud to be able to say that I played for Bo Schembechler and being able to be a part of that team. I'll share a story because everybody wants to know a Bo story usually, but my favorite Bo story has nothing to do with football, really. And my favorite Bo story is I had called Mary Passink up, and I said, Mary was Bo's secretary, and she's still there. I said, Mary, Bo's getting a little older. I said, I would like to be able to bring my kids in to see and introduce them to Bo, the man who had such a big impact on my life. And in the background, I hear this, Mary. I can't tell you exactly what he said after that because just the crowd ran. He said, who's on the phone? And I don't do a very good impression, nor do I tell good jokes, so just bear with me. He says, Mike Teeter, give me the phone. And so he gets on the phone, we start talking. And I told him I'd like to introduce my family to him, and he said, I'll take care of it. And he gave the phone back to Mary, and he gave her my information, and she said, well, show up an hour before the Penn State game, and we'll take care of it from there. Sure enough, we get inside the gate an hour before the Penn State game at Michigan Stadium, and this guy comes up to me, Mr. Teeter, and yeah, I have no idea who you are, but he brought me up to Bo's box, my family, and this will tell you, because I was asked tonight what kind of a coach Bo was, okay? We go up to Bo's box, and it's just Bo, his wife, and his father-in-law, and they bring my family up there, and we spend the first half of the game up in Bo's box. But the first thing he does, when we introduce our family, he gets down on his knee with my kids. Now my kids are like this now, okay? My kids were this big. Gets down on his knee and looks him in the eye and starts talking to him, okay? And I looked at that, and I could get choked up even thinking about it, because that's the coach that I knew. And that's the coach that you guys didn't get to see, and I did. And I want you to know the kind of coach that he was, because when I think, you can't help but not think of Bo during the fall, at least for me. And it was a very, very special time for me. And that was a very special moment for me, and I know it was a special moment for my family. It's interesting when you get up here, you have all these things that you want to say, and so many people you want to thank, but Jack's thanked them all. And so, and I just want to make the record clear, I did not give the okay for him to do that, okay? But when I look at that list, when you page through that book, it is an honor to be here. But I got to tell you something. I didn't do it on my own. Like these athletes didn't do it on their own, and it's been said already tonight. There was people that along the way helped us, and I needed a lot of help. Okay, I did. And one of the biggest, one of the people that had such a big influence on me was Rick DeBryan. Rick was one of those guys that, he wasn't very big. I was. I kind of had an attitude. He didn't. And I would walk around that square, and he grabbed me one day by the back of the shirt in the hallway. That's not something normally you would do to me in the hallway. And I turned around, and I kind of turned around like this. And it was Coach DeBryan. And he said, don't you have someplace to go? And he says, aren't you supposed to be in class? Well, that's where I'm going. You got someplace to go, right? Every single day, from my junior year through my senior year, every time he saw me in the hallway, he would grab me, okay? I had someplace to go, and it was class. And then he would pull me aside, and he would talk to me. And he would say, hey, I'm hearing good things, but what are you doing to get there? It's the teachers that make such an impact in your life. It's the coaches that make such an impact. You know, for me, personally, being called a dad, this is the most important title I think you can possibly have. Being a husband, is right there. Being a teacher or a coach is right there. The impact that our teachers and our coaches have on our lives is incredible. And there's a great responsibility as a teacher and coach. In the Bible, it says teachers are going to be held accountable to a higher standard. Okay? Well, I'm going to tell you something. If it says that in the Bible, I'm going to listen. Okay? And for me, as a coach, the hardest thing for me to do, and I'll clear the record, a lot of people have wondered why I left IU, because I love coaching. My wife will tell you, I struggle every single year for not being a coach. Okay? I love being a defensive line coach at IU. But the reason why I left was for those people over there. That's why I left. And I haven't regretted it ever since. And I've tried to put myself in the position that I wanted myself to be in as impacting younger kids, have an impact on their lives, but the most important impact that I can have are for those kids over on that table right there. And so I just want to tell you that, you dads, you teachers, you coaches, what we do is important. What we do is important. I thank my coaches. I'm Tom Holden, Rick DeBryan, Mark Hebb, oh man, the Westcotts, you know, Trackman. I can go on and on and on, but I won't because we only have 3 minutes. I'm very thankful and very proud to be part of the Fruitport community. And I want to thank you tonight for this honor. But for me, it's always been, I've had an audience of one. I didn't always know it, but I've always had an audience of one. And thank you.